Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Ocean's Pit, a little show about big things. I hope you guys are having a great day today, and I'm having a great day. I hope you are having a great day, and that's all that matters. First of all, we're here, Ocean's Pit, Monday through Friday at noon, lunchtime fun. And we're going to have a little fun today, guys. First of all, check the website, TonyOceanMusic.com, and give us a call at 847-769-8609 to book a show. Every show is dedicated to the first responders, dedicated to all our people in our military, all our veterans. Thank you for making this country great again. And we're going to have a lot of fun today. Like I said, if you're watching Ocean's Pit, if you watch it Monday through Friday at noon, we have different types of guests on every Wednesday and every Friday. So we're going to have some fun. We got a Chicago guy. His name is Herbie Gaines. And ladies and gentlemen, he's got a very great history when it comes to music. And I'm going to have him he's going to tell you the great little stories that he has. And like I said, I love having people on, and that's what it's about. It's showtime. It's Ocean's Pit. Today is Wednesday, January 22nd. Let's go to work. Thank you, Dino Manzella, formerly of Seventh Heaven, a great entertainer in the Chicagoland area. This is Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. Boy, I'm having fun. I just want to say yesterday, now the show started in March of 2020. So in March, we'll have the big 5-year anniversary bash. We're just trying to come up with a place to have it at, and I'm excited. But yesterday, if you guys are regular follower watchers, you know that Monday I do the show solo. Tuesday is Twisted Tuesday, and yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of Twisted Tuesday with my co-host, Carol Brandolino. Now, that was yesterday. Now, Wednesdays I have guests, Friday I have guests, and Thursday, of course, my lovely wife, Laura Ocean, is co-hosting with me on Thursdays. So thank you, Carol, for a great year of Twisted Tuesday. We're going to keep it going. We're going to have a lot of fun with that, and I'm excited. This week, folks, we're only, you know me, Wednesday through Sunday, we work 4 to 5 nights a week now for the last 35 years, going out performing every night. But this week is very special, and if you guys have been watching the show, you understand why. Usually it's Wednesday, I'd be working. We have a lot of stuff to do for our last minute because our son Tony is getting married, and his lovely wife-to-be, Angela Ramondi, they're getting married on Saturday. So tomorrow is a Thursday night. We'll be doing a rehearsal dinner. So the only show I got live this week is this Friday, Chicago Prime Steakhouse, 8 o'clock in Schaumburg with Jerry Jams. So that is a lot of fun. And I don't remember, and then Saturday's the wedding. So I do not remember the last time I had a Saturday night off, and doing this 35 years or even having a Wednesday or a Friday off at sometimes. So it's cool. Today, Herbie Gaines will be joining us, folks, talking about music, talking about Chicago, talking about we'll talk about some of the clubs and nightclubs and some of the great Chicago bands that came from Chicago. And I just found out a little earlier that Herbie's a big Who fan. So that's cool. We're going to talk about that. But before that, let's get right to our sponsor, Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, Norwich, Des Plaines, Evergreen Park, Warrenville, Mesa, Arizona. It's cold outside, and the salt is trending. All JRC Ace Hardware stores in Chicagoland area are stocked with salt. 50-pound bags of ice melter is only $10.99. A 50-pound bag of rock salt is only $9.99. We didn't forget about your furry friends. They also have a pet-safe salt options. They have the best deals for snowblowers, folks, and it is coming down today. Toro 820 1QZE single-stage snowblower at the JRC Ace Hardwares are only $8.99. If you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, you're paying $9.49. So think of the deal you're going to get with these great Ace Hardware, folks. $8.99. They'll bring you the best product at the best price. That's our good friends from Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, helping neighbors before there were neighborhoods. Ace Hardware, you can't beat it. It's a respectable company. That's what I like about it. It's been around forever, and everybody loves Ace Hardware. All right, so a lot of things to talk about, a lot of crazy week that we've had, folks. Some people are happy about Donald Trump being our next president of the United States. Some people are not happy. But the way I'm saying it to everybody right now is, you had 4 years of your shot, and you blew it. So now we're going to try Trump and his party. Let's see what they do. Let's give them a chance. Let's see what they can do. Make it right. That's all we can do now. We got to climb aboard. We got to come together, as John Lennon would say, and let's make this thing work. And that's what it's about. Before we bring Herbie Gaines on, folks, and see who's watching Double T, Tony, there is Paulina. She was on the show not too long ago. Hope you're doing well. Nina, hope you had a good birthday, my friend. Ronnie B., what's shaking, my brother? There's Mary Grievous from the cruise ship. I'm sure she's still on the water. I don't know if she's home yet. So since we got Mary right there, let's get right to her, folks. You're looking for a real estate at its finest. Don't just call me when you're ready to buy or sell. Contact me when you're considering buying or selling. She's your forever agent. That's Mary Grievous. mgrievous at starkre.com, 630-688-1725. She's available to sit buyers, sellers, for sale by owners, and expired listings. Berkshire Hathaway Stark Real Estate with Mary Grievous at all your real estate needs. And then if you're going to go with Mary Grievous with real estate, let's not forget Mary Grievous when it comes to the Chicago Music Cruise. And I think they're on that cruise right now. They've been sending pictures. I'm jealous. Her and Jeff and everybody who's sending pictures. But you can be on part of that pictures too. You missed our cruise back in January of 2024. Do not miss this one coming up, folks. March 22nd to March 30th. We're talking about 8 days on the Royal Caribbean, folks. 8 days on the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, Oasis of the Seas. Fort Lauderdale, Carousel, Aruba, and Coco Key, Bahamas. It's going to be a lot of fun, folks. 8 days on that water, and entertaining on the ship will be our good friend Scott Childers from WGN. How about Wendy Thompson with her tribute to Marilyn Monroe and Britney Spears? How about my rock band, Mo Joe's Jukebox? Tony Ocean and the main event band. That's right, Tony Ocean, Jerry Jams, Double T, Tony Toto, and Ron Starr on this one. It's going to be good. Hillbilly Rock Stars, the #1 country band in the city. Frankie Boom Boom Hollywood Rodriguez, and let's not forget Seventh Heaven. They're the ringleaders. They're the bosses. And it's going to happen March 22nd to March 30th. Go to ChicagoMusicCruise.com. Put in Tony Ocean or give Mary a call at 630-688-1725 and say, hey, I want to go on the ocean with Ocean. And you guys should be joining us because it's going to be a lot of fun out on that water. Very cool. So I hope you're having a great day. And we got so much stuff to take care of and so much stuff to talk about. Herbie will be joining us. Today is National Hugging Day. For any of you people out there that like hugging, go ahead and do it. Now, some people are afraid of that now. Don't hug me. Don't touch me. Fist pump. You know what? Forget about it. It's over. It's over. We can hug now. We can hug. We can kiss. We can do whatever it is. Go out and have a little fun. Don't let the world scare you. We have so much of that already. As crazy as it can be. How about all the food? Have you been seeing all this food that's being recalled between eggs and beef and meat? I mean, everything is being recalled. It's almost like it's done on purpose here to kill us here in the United States of America. I don't know. But there's something I did not know. Honey. Are you a big honey eater or honey taster, whatever you want to call it? You put in your tea. You have teaspoons of it. My mother used to put the honey in the tea when you were sick. If I had a sore throat, put it in the tea. But it wasn't usually tea. It was usually chamomile. Well, we call it an Italian camomilla. And you take the honey and you put it in there. Or the raw honey is real good. But I didn't realize, folks, that honey will not rot. It will not rot. It will stay in that jar, whatever you got. It will remain edible for over 3,000 years. I don't think you're going to have it that long. But this is interesting stuff that you don't get to hear on regular news, right, folks? Here on Ocean's Pit, a little show about big things. Starbucks. I'm not a Starbucks guy. My sister Natalie works for Starbucks, the one in Arlington Heights. I am not a Starbucks guy. I'm not a big coffee guy. I drink 1 cup of decaf, 1 cup of decaf every day till it's warm for my throat with some cream and some sugar. But if you like Starbucks, and a lot of people do, obviously, I didn't realize that the biggest Starbucks in the world is actually 646 North Michigan Avenue, downtown Chicago. So if you're ever going to go out to that big one, get out to the city. And we were talking yesterday about all the bad stuff and new stuff and everybody trying to be more health conscious. Kathy Eppolito, how are you doing, Kathy? I hope you're doing well. California is in the house. Daryl, the Professor Armenstad. Daryl, we'll see you Saturday at our kid's wedding, buddy. Look forward to seeing you and Sonia. Sandra Argento, how you doing, my friend? Okay, so we just announced with all these fast food restaurants and people putting stuff together. They have the Burger King came up with this new Whopper. I think I mentioned it yesterday. I'm not a fast food guy. I'll have it every now and then, but it's not a thing that I go to, okay? McDonald's now got a 5-patty, mind you, 5-patty, the Whoppinator. It's 5 patties. It's huge. It's like this. I mean, it's crazy, but this is what Burger King has. So what does McDonald's do to top that? I know this world is getting crazy. They have the McDonut. It's a donut. It's a donut, folks. You cut the donut in half and you put a burger in it. It's McDonald's, a burger with a donut. Why don't you just give us a gun now and go with all that sugar will kill you, folks. Oh, my God. And you know people are going to eat it. People are going to try it. All the kids, Mommy, I want the burger. I want the hot dog. Right? Is it crazy? Jill, Indiana's in the house. Lilia, how doing? David, I hate golf. There you go. Joanne, David from Florida. How you doing? Patrice, former Chicago Honey Bear, is in the house. We're just going through stuff. Herbie Gaines will be joining us in just a few minutes, folks, here on Ocean's Pit, a little show about big things. All right, so what do we got here real fast? If you're a big soap opera fan, I haven't watched a soap opera in a long time, but if you're a big Days of Our Lives fans, this came over, folks. Frances San Martin, one of the actors from Days of Our Life, has passed away at the age of 39 years old. Too young to be dying, folks. And also, one of the original last members of the band, a great group from the 60s, like 70s, Garth Hudson, has passed away. He was one of the original keyboard players for the band, called The Band, of course. Dies at the age of 87 years old. Yuck as it is. There's Jerry Jams. What's up, my brother? I wrap bacon around Gray's donut holes. See, Carol, with that, now they're putting donuts with hamburgers. What is wrong with this country? Carol, Greg, thank you yesterday for 1-year anniversary with Twisted Tuesday. We're going to have a lot more fun with that. We got 1 more minute, and my good buddy Herbie Gaines will be joining us. So let's get in another commercial because I think once we get Herbie talking and some of his stories, I don't want to interrupt. I think it's going to be good. All right, guys, when times are tough right now and people are trying to save money, what about Imperialux? What is Imperialux, Tony? Tell us about it. Well, I'm going to tell you what it is, folks. Imagine putting your money to work for you, becoming your own bank, making your dream retirement a reality with guaranteed lifetime income. Guaranteed lifetime income. Wendy Thompson and Craig Coughlin will help you create personal pensions, growth with wealth, secure your legacy. It's never too late to start. Take charge of your financial future today. Give them the call at 630-890-1213 or book through on Calendly for a free consultation and start building your retirement you deserve. That's Imperialux. Give Wendy and Craig a call, 630-890-1213. You can't go wrong with Imperialux. Give them a call. You got nothing to lose. And tell them Tony O and Ocean's Pit sent you. You're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things, folks. All the sponsors that we mentioned on the show, not only do we tell you how much they're great sponsors and great companies, but they're mom and pop restaurants or mom and pop establishments. Buy local, shop local. That's what it's about. That's what Ocean's Pit's about. That's what we need to bring America back into it again. Buy local, shop local. All right, one more thing here, folks. Just want to make sure I got all this done here, man. This stuff is too good. Too good. All right, it's going to go right to our guest, everybody. I'm having a good day today. I hope you guys are too. So let me just make sure we got this all taken care of. His name is Herbie Gaines. He's a musician in Chicago. He plays great music and he loves music. He's got some interesting stories about music. And I like to always bring in some interesting stuff here on the show. And that's what it's about. Musical experiences in Chicago, because there's been so many great nightclubs, so many great bands out of Chicago. We're going to talk a little bit about everything, and it's important. So let's bring up our guest today, joining us here on Ocean's Pit, Herbie Gaines. Herbie, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, but did you have to bring me in after the hamburger and the donut story?
Well, what the hell, you know, it is what it, obviously you don't eat that garbage, right, Herbie?
I threw up a little bit in my mouth.
Okay, let me ask you something. When was the last time you ate something bad?
I don't know. I eat pretty healthy.
Okay, that's what I mean. So yeah, but it's amazing when America. Remember when they came out with the McRib, and everybody's like, the McShit. Have you? I mean, it's like I don't know if it's dog food. I don't realize what people are eating here. It's just crazy. Herbie's with us today. Herbie, I hope you're doing well, buddy. Where are you? Where are you at? You on vacation? Where are you at? Right? It looks very, very nice wherever you're at right now.
I'm in my bedroom. Actually, I sell Hyundai and Genesis cars, and today is my day off.
Well, you've been selling cars. I noticed that when it came up on your profile. How long have you been doing that, Herbie?
40 years.
Let me ask you something. In your opinion, what has changed for the worst and what has changed for the better in the car business?
Well, there's a lot of information out there for people, so it's kind of good for them. And for the better, the cars are safer. The technology in them is incredible. In the newer cars.
In the newer cars. A lot of people are buying stuff online now, Herbie, or are people still coming in to talk to the car salesman?
People mostly want to come in.
Right. Because you want to try the car before you buy it, right? It's like I can't see somebody just buying something online like that. Herbie, real fast, is the electric cars a big thing? Is this selling? Because from a lot of dealerships that I know, they can't get rid of these things. So,
well, we got rid of all of ours. We were smart enough just to dump them. But some people still want them. But it's a choice now, at least.
Well, and that's good. One of the questions, as a car dealer, as a guy that's been selling it, do you recommend electric cars?
It depends on you. For me, if it's your second car and you have another car that you can take if you go on longer trips and you're just shooting around town in it, I think they're cool. Yeah.
Okay. Just like you said, and that's what I was saying, the same thing. If you're just driving around town and something, they're cool. But to take those long trips and to find the charging stations and whether they work or they don't work. And can you get the whole myth? Tell us the whole myth about the battery. You lose the battery, 50, 60 grand to fix. Is this all true?
I think it's too early to even really know, but I also wouldn't buy an electric car if I didn't have a garage and was able to put a charging unit in it. So if you're coming home to your house, you have a garage and you plug it in and it's fully charged in the morning, or even you plug it in every 3 days. I mean, that's nice. But if you lived in an apartment complex and you were going to public charge, no, I wouldn't do that.
See, there you go, folks. So you're learning from people who actually are in the business. Very good. All right. So, Herbie, let's start. Where were you born, my friend?
Right here in Chicago, my whole life.
Chi-Town. Okay. Yep. So you come from a big family.
I just have a couple of half siblings.
Very cool. And you always been influenced in music, obviously. It's when we talked before you went on the air. And tell us a quick story, how
Okay.
you got influenced in music. How old were you when you found or seen, whether it was a celebrity on TV or you went to a live concert, that you said, "Boy, what is this thing called music?"
Well, I got my first guitar when I was 8, but it had such terrible action that I couldn't play it, and I thought it was me. Like you had to pull the string down like an inch to get to the neck. But then when I was 11, my parents bought me a classical guitar with nylon strings, uh, and that's kind of where it all started. And the first song I learned was a Cat Stevens song, "Where Do the Children Play?"
Great song by the great Cat Stevens. Absolutely. All
Yeah.
right. So you were telling me the story. Let's get right to it. You're like 6 or 7 years old, and all of a sudden you get to see some band called The Who. Tell us that story.
Well, I loved the Who. My half brother was 7 years older than me, so we had all these 8 tracks and stuff in there, and I absolutely wore out the Tommy 8 track. Like I would listen to it over and over again, and he got tickets to the final Who show at the auditorium, the final Tommy tour in 1970, and he was nice enough to let me join him and all his 18-year-old buddies. I
Now
actually was
wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're 7 years old.
No, I was 12 at this time.
Okay, you're 12. Okay, all
I'm
right. All right.
12.
Okay.
So uh, we sat 14th row dead center at the
Wow.
Auditorium Theater, and it was the Who still with Keith Moon, John Entwistle, Townsend, and Daltrey, and we sat there, watched them do Tommy from cover to cover, and then the encore was almost the whole Live It Leeds album, and at the end, Keith Moon smashed and kicked over the whole drum set. Peter Townsend smashed his Les Paul. Uh, it's an unbelievable show, and it was so loud that I couldn't hear for like 2 days.
Well, they
My
said
ears
at
were
that particular time, you're right. I think they were voted the loudest rock and roll band at that particular time. Then I think Kiss
yeah.
did it after them, and then AC/DC came after that. But wow, what an experience. And for some of the younger kids who have no clue what the Who is, the music they had. I mean, I love the mod stuff, Substitute. I love the Kids Are
Mhm.
All Right, one of my favorite songs of all time. There was a band, and like I said, it was a big difference. It was a big change when Kenny Jones came in and took the place of Keith Moon. Because, like you said, there's never
Mhm.
going to be another Keith Moon.
No.
And I think they kind of mellowed out then, didn't they, Herbie? In your opinion?
I don't know. Bands always evolve, Tony. Uh, I don't know.
Good.
Was Who Are You more mellow than some of the earlier? I could see for miles. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, good point there. I mean, yeah, I just thought maybe they just lost that edge a little bit without Keith. That's what I thought. I mean, but no, like you said, no one's going to be able to take that play. And then later on, when they came back and they got Zach Starkey, Ringo's
Yeah,
kid, boy,
right.
I mean, he's an incredible drummer too. I mean, my God, what he did was fantastic. Herbie Gaines here, ladies and gentlemen, Chicago guy. Herbie, let's talk about, okay, now I ask this to anybody that I know that loves music. If you had a pick and you can only listen to these two bands, one or the other, you can't have both. Were you a John, Paul, George, and Ringo guy? Or were you a Mick, Keith, etc., Charlie, Bill, Brian Jones, or whatever? Were you a Stones guy or were you a Beatle guy?
That is a tough call, but I'd probably pick the Beatles over the Stones. But I still love
Why?
the Stones
Okay, but why?
because of melody and complexity.
I think you got a good point now. If you think about when that band first started, they were basically the same. They were both
Right.
very scuffled. They were all leather jackets, kind of beat up. All Brian Epstein, the genius that he was, has cleaned them up, put them in suits, and made them pretty boys that every mommy wanted everybody to be a Beatle, right? And then, of course, Lou Ogham, Robert Lou Ogham, the guy from the Stones, took them and made them more dirtier than they really were to make them. Who'd want to go out with a Rolling Stone, you know? So it's amazing, the whole story of that. Were you a British Invasion guy?
Sure. I liked a lot of those bands.
Yeah.
Zeppelin.
You're talking
Zeppelin
late,
was a
though.
great
I'm
band.
talking about like Mersey beat. I'm talking the Beatles, Dave Clark Five, Hollies, Kinks, Hermits, Jerry and the Pacemakers.
Oh, yeah.
All those great bands from them. Yeah, absolutely.
Something tells me I'm into something good.
Something good. Absolutely. Herbie, what are you listening into your car today? When you get into your car, what's the first song you crank on, or do you listen to talk music? What do you do?
I subscribed to Sirius Radio for $5 a month.
Okay.
So, honestly, my go-to station is Seriously Sinatra.
Okay, there you go. You gotta love it.
I
What
love
made
all
him
of that.
so Herbie? I mean, there was so many great singers back then.
Oh.
Why you think Sinatra did all this? I mean, first of all, as a person, I never met the man. I've got close to a lot of his people, working at Jilly's downtown for 15 years.
Right.
Good friends with Willie Rizzo, which was Jilly's son, and a lot of the stories that we're telling you. If he liked you, he liked you. If he hated you, he hated you. But the way he sang, the way he could take a note, and the way he can take a word, and there wasn't anybody like him.
He was a Fraser. But I mean, it's not just Frank. That station, they play all those songs and all these different singers. Bobby Darin, Louis Armstrong, Keely Smith.
Martin. Yeah, Keely Smith, Louis Prima. I know Tony Bennett.
Louis Prima, Dean Martin.
Yeah,
just
play them all.
All the music from that era had such beautiful melody to it. That's and the reason I listen to that is because, like, we listen to music all day at work, and it's all rock and everything like that. So when I get in the car, I want something different.
Herbie, can you explain to me, and I can't get anybody to give me an answer, what is this garbage that's out now in 2025? Can you tell me anything? There will never be the bands that are out now, I believe, maybe in the last 10 years, I do not see a greatest hits 60 years from now that the kids will be listening. Oh, do you remember that? Like we do back with the music of the 50s, 60s, 70s. What is wrong with music these days, in your opinion?
I don't know, but we're probably showing our age right now by saying that.
That's okay.
But I don't like rap music or anything in that wing at all. I don't even think it's not music. It's rhythm with somebody talking over it. And then as far as the rest of the music, I don't know. There's some stuff out there that's okay. I like Sarah Bareilles. I think she's really good. There's a few people, but when I turn on Alexa downstairs, I'm listening to stuff like, do you know who Pink Martini is?
Sure, absolutely.
They're
okay.
Fantastic band out of Oregon.
Yeah, they're
and
good.
I listen to a lot of the old stuff.
But that's like I said, you could barely name. You name maybe two. That's what I mean. Back when we let's just take the 60s. If you just took the Stones, the Beatles, Zeppelin, Elton John, the list just goes on. Even
Jefferson Airplane,
or Jefferson Starship,
Traffic, Stones, yes, Bob Seger, Elton John.
There you go, and then you're going into the 70s. I mean, look at the great music that came out in the 70s.
Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
There you go. Did you like them better with Young? Did you like them when they added Young?
Yeah.
I always liked Neil Young. I always thought Neil Young was cool. I always liked it, and I love that stuff too. But then we were talking earlier, once the late 70s came, and I was more into the punk stuff. You were getting more into progressive stuff. We'll talk a little bit about that in just 1 second. Herbie Gaines is joining us here, folks. We got more music to talk about, but you know what time it is? It's time for the Ace Weather Minute. That's right. Brought to you by Ace Hardware. Oh, you got to love our good friends from Ace Hardware. Today's weather is sponsored by Ace Minute, brought to you by the JRC Ace Hardware Store. Today is January 22nd, Wednesday. It's 8 degrees out there, folks. It feels like it's -7. Temperature higher today, 22% more colder than it was yesterday. Humidity is 56 percentage. Wind is 10 miles an hour. It is cold, and there is slight chances of snow. We already seen the snow this morning, and there's going to be some snow showers tonight. That is the Ace Minute, brought to you by Ace JRC Hardware Stores. Ace Hardware, buy local, shop local, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. Our good friends of Ace. All right, Herbie Gaines is watching. Herbie, I'm going to throw some, since we're both from Chicago, I'm going to throw some Chicago bands to you, throw some names at you, and tell me thumbs up or thumbs down. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. We're going to go to the New Colony 6.
Good. Things I'd like to say.
Great song. Great song.
Great
Let's go.
song.
A band that's just celebrating their 60 years, the Buckinghams.
Love the Buckinghams. Absolutely love them.
Fantastic stuff. Let's go to another band. How about the Ides of March?
Ides of March are good, Jim Peterick.
Jim Peterick does his stuff. We're going to go to now another part of Illinois, from Zion. And I don't know if you followed the pop bands back then, but the Murphy Brothers. Did you ever hear of a band called Shoes?
No, the Shoes.
Well, they say they don't like but it's called Shoes. But an incredible pop band. They're out of Zion, but they had a bunch of hits. Too late back in the 70s, but that's another band. How about a band from Champaign, Illinois, REO Speedwagon?
Well, I saw REO Speedwagon at Wheeling High School with only about 200 people in the entire place, and they did all those original songs. Golden Country is my favorite.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Gary Richrath was still their guitarist.
Tragically, they lost a lot when he left. I think they lost a lot of edge when he left.
Yeah, and then their stuff that became big hits wasn't as edgy. You're right.
Yeah, they got a little bit more whatchamacallit. All right, another great band. How about the Crying Shames?
Crying Shames are good.
You got to love them. Let's go to the multi-hit band, Chicago.
Oh, love Chicago.
I mean, my God, one hit after another. It's just crazy. We're going to go into
my friend Dan Peters plays in the Chicago cover band.
Yeah, you know what? And it's there's a lot of them out there. Did you see the Chicago the tribute band to Chicago? They're from Russia.
Yes.
And they don't speak any English, and it's like, holy cow! When they play, they're unbelievable.
Leonid and friends, we saw them at the Alley in Highwood.
Okay, the Alley. I remember playing there a few times. Absolutely. Okay, let's get to another band, Southsiders. How about Styx?
Love Styx. I think The Grand Illusion is one of the great rock songs. I love the lyric on there. If you think your life's a bit confusing because your neighbor's got it made, just remember it's a grand illusion, and deep inside, we're all the same.
The same, yeah. Wow, that's perfect, Herbie. I love that. Let's go to another band, a little bit more hard rocker back in the 90s. How about, were you a Smashing Pumpkin fan?
No, not really. Although I sold a car to Billy Corgan when I was at Subaru on Irving Park.
Billy, yeah, now he's got his band. Now he's really in. He owns a wrestling organization right now, professional wrestling. So he's doing into that now. And he's got that his tea store wherever he sells tea. You
Yeah.
go to his. You know what? God bless him. All right, two more bands. Unless I'm leaving somebody else out after this, maybe you can tell me. I mean, they had a lot of hits. They're going to mostly be remembered actually for the Eye of the Tiger, of course. But Jim Peterick does it again with Survivor. They had a lot of great hits.
Fantastic. The Search is Over is brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant song.
Absolutely.
And Lisa McClowry did a lot of work with them, and she's fantastic too.
Yeah, I did some work with Jim. We did a bunch of original. He was writing songs for people, so he used my voice as a demo to sell to these other groups. So Peter was fantastic, and Survivor, of course. And then out of all the bands I just mentioned, my favorite band to come out of Chicago, Rockford, Illinois, Cheap Trick. I mean, come on, Rick Nielsen, Bunny Carlos, Tom Peterson, and the great Robin Zander, the
Robin
most
Zander
of all time.
Yeah, they're very good. And Rick Nielsen's son, Miles Nielsen, is a very excellent songwriter also.
Yeah, they
talented.
Another band that should have been huge, Herbie. Should have been huge.
I'll tell you who it was. Off-Broadway.
Off-Broadway. Cliff, Mimi. Wait, let's go back. Let's go back to Pez Band. Pez Band should have been huge. Pez Band. I had Mimi on the show. I bought all the records. I love them. And then Off-Broadway, Stay in Time, Full Moon, Atlantic Records, that came out. The pink cover with the light bulbs on. What a band they were.
What a band. I remember going to Beginnings in Schaumburg.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes. Sure.
Saw them a bunch of times there.
They were a great group out of Chicago. And, it's amazing now. The music changed. The clubs back then. You were talking about Beginnings. We were talking about the Thirsty Whale. We talked about Haymakers. Haymakers. How about old Chicago, where they used to be it was the amusement park, and then they had bands. I remember seeing the last concert there was the Ramones, and it was like, oh my God, it was unbelievable. Why do you think that's all changed the music industry in Chicago? I mean, I noticed it's changed a lot of places, but Chicago was really big at one time with a lot of music venues. More than now, we have more restaurants.
Yeah, they're trying to tie it all together. I think what happened to a lot of this stuff is the internet is what happened. It used to be you'd get an album and you would bring it home and you'd open it and you'd read the liner notes and everything, and you'd put the needle on there and you would sit and you'd listen to it with your friends and you anticipated it so much. But now you could pick up your phone, which is a stronger computer than what was on the Apollo missions. You have that in your hand, and all you have to do is go YouTube, boom, and you can see the most brilliant things in 1 second. You could be listening to Andrea Bocelli, or just brilliance like in a second. So I think people aren't as excited about seeing the local stuff.
I agree with you. Another band we completely forgot, and thank you so much, David, for bringing it up. Shadows of the Night, Gloria, Jimmy Sands, of course, one of the outlaws of Chicago. He was one of the best. I remember we did his memorial when he passed away. Another great band. But you're right about the media. Social media is definitely, well, you know what? In general, if you think about this, Herbie, the social media is for our job, for my job, for your job, social media is very important. And social media is very good too, but it also destroyed a lot of things in this world.
Yep, and it's going to continue.
It's
going to continue.
What someone said to me. Yeah, go ahead.
As long as we're talking about local and older people, I want to give a couple shout out to the local people that are performing now who I
Yes.
think are fantastic.
Yeah, let's show.
And
Go ahead.
one of them is Scott Ligon. Scott Ligon, everything he touches turns to gold. He
Okay.
is absolutely brilliant. He is the leader of the group, the Flat Five. Have
Okay.
you ever seen them, Tony?
No. I will. I'm going to Google this. Ligon as an L.
Ligon. Scott
Okay.
Ligon. And the group is called the Flat Five. And I'm actually going to see them tonight at
Okay.
the Hideout. Have you been to the Hideout?
In Bensenville.
No, the Hideout is at Elston and North Avenue, basically. It's a little
Okay.
dive bar.
Okay.
It's been around for 50 years. So
Okay. All right.
the Flat Five, the 5 people, and they all sing, and they do 4 and 5 part harmonies,
Very
and
cool.
they do original. They go back and do the most original, off the map things that surprise you. They do them brilliantly, and that would be Scott Ligon, Kelly Hogan, Nora O'Connor, Casey McDonough, and Alex Hall. And you have not, they're our favorite band in the entire world.
Well, God
And
bless it. I mean, if you like them, I got to check them out, man, because you know what? It's the Flat Five. So let's Google that, guys. Look at it and support these guys, the Flat Five, which is great. Herbie Gaines is with us here, folks. Herbie, oh God, music. If you say in your time, who would you say is the most greatest songwriter? I mean, there's so many. You're going to say Lennon McCartney. You can say Brian Wilson. If you had to pick, who was your favorite songwriter in your time?
Oh my! I don't know. I'm still a huge Who fan.
Yeah,
well, the song is over. Song is over.
A great song too.
Things like that. The Beatles were great songwriters. Joni Mitchell.
A lot of good songs. Yeah.
Fantastic songwriters. So unique. I mean,
Carole King. Another
Carole King.
I mean, my God. And then you look at Elton John and Bernie Taupin. They wrote the songs together. Even Paul Simon. The Paul Simon songs are just like, wow.
Fantastic. One of my lyrical genius favorites is Jackson Browne.
Another great, yeah.
His 3 albums from 1970, 70, and 71, Saturate Before Using for Everyman, and Late for the Sky.
Yeah.
Brilliance in lyrics.
He had some good ones. And we're talking about my favorite songwriter is Eric Carmen. Now, some people from the Raspberries, but he had so many great hits solo. Another guy, when it comes to lyrics, you have to love Dylan when it comes to lyrics.
Well, we just saw the movie.
Okay, I was going to ask you, is it good?
It's fantastic. Fantastic. And I go to open mic at Grandpa's in Glenview every Tuesday. And we 10 to 20 of us get together and everybody plays 2 songs and we have a blast. And after I saw the movie, I'm on a Bob Dylan roll now.
Okay.
Every week I've done at least one Dylan song. Right after I saw the movie, I played my 2 favorite songs from the movie. So there's a scene where Joan Baez and him are just starting to have a little affair. Okay. And she goes back to his place and he's sitting on the bed and she's looking through the papers he has strewn all over the place. And she picks up a piece of paper and she looks at it and the camera shows blowing in the wind. And she goes over to the bed and puts it there and she goes, play this one. And he slides over and he looks at it and they look at each other and he plays that song for her. And Tony, it was like you were witnessing that iconic song being played for somebody for the very first
First
time. And
Yeah.
it was so emotional because that song is like an anthem of the 60s. It's a
Oh yeah.
song that it's one of the great songs of my childhood. And even my wife, who wasn't born here, had a tear in her eye at that moment. And then one more scene, they got to the 1963 Newport Folk Festival, and the mood of the country was changing. And they were showing all the people in the audience, and he got up there and he started to play "The Times They Are a Changin',"
Yeah.
and you could see that the audience, as they listened to the words he was singing, how they became emotional. And by the end of the song, they were standing on their seats, like, like, like soaking it all up. And it was another, like, one of those moments. And just those two moments of the movie alone are fantastic. But all the rest of it, you have to see it.
I gotta go see it because I like certain Bob Dylan stuff. One of my favorite songs by him, I gotta love, "Just Like a Woman." I think is a great song by him. I think that's great. But then if you're looking at Bobby Dylan, the great Robert Zimmerman, I think that's his real name. We're gonna
Yeah.
go to a guy who they say was the new or the next Bob Dylan. Of course, was Bruce Springsteen. Now, I mean, here's a guy, don't care much for his political views, but boy, can this guy take a lyric too and write like he does. There's never going to be another Bob Dylan, obviously. Were you a Springsteen fan, Herbie, or are you a Springsteen fan?
I'm a Springsteen fan. I perform Born to Run, which people don't expect just on a one guy with acoustic guitar. But I do it, and I do it. I put a completely different spin on it. And at
Okay.
first, people have their head turned, and then by the end, they're like, "Whoa!" No,
I'd love to hear you play that. That would be so cool, man. Yeah, you know what? He was a guy. I mean, unbelievable when you got guys like that. And Springsteen, always one of my favorites, and always comes up with.
Have you heard Jungle Land?
Oh my God! Well, I've got everything. I've seen Springsteen 15 times. Okay, he's fantastic.
Jungle Land.
Oh my God.
The emotion that he could put into a song, unbelievable.
He did it, and you know what? When he went to go see him live back in the day, 3 hours straight, Herbie, 3 hours with no break, no costume changes, no nothing. I mean, 3 hours. And then sometimes what he does is the fans would hold up names of songs, and there's a section in the show of the 3 hours that he goes, name that too. And then he just picks one of the cardboard from one of the fans and shows it to the band, and the band's got to start the song right away and play it. I mean,
yeah, I love those kind of shows. We went to see a couple of years ago Jackson Browne at the Copernicus Center, and he didn't have any agenda. It was just him and one other guy. And the way that show went is everybody just screamed out what they wanted to hear, and he played it.
That's great. I love that. Now, wait, since you've mentioned a lot of good places that you mentioned that you've seen live entertainment, that's going to be my next question to you. What's the best venue in Chicago to see a band? Your opinion. I knew at one time it was always the Park West because I love the Park West. What did you like?
Of course, I love the Auditorium Theater.
Okay.
But it depends on the size of the venue for the show. Like, we're seeing the Flat Five tonight at the Hideout, and it's going to be in this little tiny back room, and there's going to be not more than 200 people in the whole place. Space in Evanston is like that. It's very small and intimate, but you can't see some of the bigger acts in a place like that. So you got to go bigger. The Des Plaines Theater. We saw the Genesis impersonation band called a Musical Box.
Okay.
And we saw them twice. They did Selling England by the Pound cover to cover last time. It's a British band, and they do it exactly. The costumes are
And everything.
exactly the same. And it was fantastic both
Well, then
times.
I'm gonna stop you right there, Herbie. Genesis. Were you a Peter Gabriel guy or were you a Phil Collins guy? Or do you care?
Um, okay, I'm going to tell you a quick story. So
That's what I
when,
want to hear. Give me these stories.
okay,
Good. I love it.
okay, so I didn't tell you this yet. So when I was young, I was really into photography,
Okay.
and my dad bought me a color darkroom for our basement, and everybody did black and white back then, but not many people did color. You had to put the things in this roller thing and turn out the lights, and it was more complicated. So anyways, remember the Flipside records, Tony?
Oh, I love Flipside. Used to be the
Okay,
best.
so Carl Rosenbaum was a big promoter and he
Okay.
owned the Flipside. So
Okay.
the store in Hubbard Woods, uh, I, uh, and it was also Ticketron there. So I got to be friends with the manager, and I showed him that I could do color. So I was a senior in high school, and he hired me to be the store photographer for the Flipside store.
Oh, you
So
got to be
for
kidding me. Wow. That's
so
great.
for a whole year, I got in backstage to all the shows that Carl Rosenbaum promoted. So I got in backstage to Jefferson Starship and David Bowie and Leo Kottke and all these different bands. And then Genesis came out with The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, and they opened it at the auditorium in Chicago. So I got in backstage. I took pictures from the orchestra pit, and what I had to do for the store was I took 8.5 by 11 photos. I mounted them on 11 by 14 cardboard, and I gave them 3 shots from each show. So I had pictures of that first Genesis show. I had a picture of Peter Gabriel dressed up as the Slipper Man and the old man from the musical box. And I had them all mounted. And then Genesis announced that because Chicago was so fantastic to them and they opened that show in Chicago, they decided to also close the Lamb Lies Down on Broadway tour, and they did that at the Erie Crown Theater at McCormick Place. So I got in backstage to that one also, and I brought with the pictures from the first show. And at the very end of that show, I wormed my way over to where Peter Gabriel's dressing room was, and I got him to autograph the picture I had of him dressed as the Slipper Man.
How cool is that? Now that you
Okay.
can't see, that's a great story. Wow.
Wait, I have to tell you the sad part of the story. I was so stupid that I gave the autographed picture to the store.
Oh my God.
What
What
was
the
I
hell?
thinking?
Oh, well, you know what? You were trying to be loyal to them. They gave you the job there, so you felt like a little low. Yeah, Herbie, you got some great stories. We've got about maybe 7 minutes left for the hour, but I'm going to throw
Okay,
something in. I know
sure.
you told me the first concert you seen when you were 12 that you said your brother bought you to see, correct? What was the
Yeah.
first concert that you bought with your own money, your own ticket, and who was the artist?
Oh, well, we started going to the Kinetic Playground, which was on Clark Street, and I don't remember the order, but they had some pretty big bands there, and it was like 4 bands for $5. And it was bands like Foghat, JoJo Gunn, um, Jay Giles
Wow.
Band.
Yeah, Peter Wolf.
There was
Fantastic.
one show, it was uh, John McLaughlin and the Mahavishnu Orchestra,
John
and Chick
McLaughlin.
Corea and Return to Forever. They were
Wow.
both in the same show. And then actually, and one time there, that this is a great memory. Traffic had played at the Erie Crown Theater, and it was very quietly announced that they were going to do a small little show at the Kinetic Playground. And I was lucky enough to get in, and I saw Traffic at that little tiny place, and they did Low Sparkle High Heel Boys and Glad, and Stevie Winwood got up there with Kim Capaldi on flute with just the
Capaldi,
two
yeah,
of them and a
yeah.
small little blue light, and they did John Barleycorn Must Die,
Wow.
and I was sitting like 10 feet from them.
That is amazing. Some of these great stories. Herbie Gaines is with us, folks. Got a couple more sponsors. Let's get to Mr. Jack Vena Landscaping, folks, because it's that time of season. Buy local, shop local. We know spring is right around the corner, folks. And when that happens, you might want to be involved in getting a company that can take care of you. And what I love about these guys, Jack Vena Landscaping, folks, here's what they can do for you. Their monthly maintenance programs: bush trimming, spring, fall cleanup, bed mulching, fertilizing, weed control. They offer plant design service, installation, servicing the North Shore for 44 years. That's Jack Vena Landscaping, 847-432-5266. And let's not forget, last but not least, one of the other great sponsors is my good buddy Louis Pipes when it comes to airtight windows and sidings. Folks, if you're looking for new windows and you want it done right, do it right with Airtight. For honesty, quality, dependability, do it right with Airtight. And serving Chicagoland area for 35 years, do it right with Airtight. That's Airtight Windows. Louis Pipes at 708-788-5000. And they will help you with all your special needs when it comes to windows and siding. You can't beat that, Louis Pipes. All right, so we are live here with Herbie Gaines. Oh, let me just get rid of that real fast because I just lost. Oh, boy, that's not good. Go over here. I'm sorry about that. Give me 1 second, guys. We're just trying to get this piece off. All right, Herbie. So I'm going to throw, we got 3 minutes. I'm going to throw a couple names at you. You're going to tell me overrated or underrated. Are you ready?
Yep.
Warren Zevon.
Neutral.
Okay, you got to like that. Were you a Replacements fan? The band The Replacements?
Not too familiar with them.
Not too familiar with them. All right, let's go to this one. Bad Company.
I'm a fan.
Overrated or underrated? You're a fan. Kiss.
Overrated.
Overrated. How about Taylor Swift?
Overrated by a lot.
Oh my God. And Herbie, you know what's crazy? She's in the record books selling more records than any other artist in the music history.
Well, I get it. I mean, I don't hate her or anything.
Right.
But like she's no Bob Dylan or Joni Mitchell or any like brilliance like that. Which might
to the kids, the new generation, she is. It's almost like whatever. And then you got
well, that's because things are dumbed down now to what they used to be. Hey, Tony, I gave a shout out to Scott Legan and the Flat Five before. I want to give a shout out to two other local guys that I think are brilliant songwriters and musicians.
Go ahead.
One is Phil Angotti.
Oh, I love Phil Angotti. Love his stuff.
He is fantastic.
Power pop to his finest. I love his stuff.
He sings brilliantly. He's got his friends are amazing. He does the Beatles brunch at City Winery. His own music, his CDs, great. He played it.
Get Phil on the show. I love his stuff. I've been following him for years, man.
He's great. He played in Christine Cutt's backyard party the summer before last, and it was fantastic. And one other guy is Robin Benneman. Okay. Robin writes very witty, great songs that the lyrics are just, he's a brilliant guy.
And you know what? What I love, Herbie, when you're promoting other acts and you're talking about different performers and stuff like that, I love, which is very important because a lot of people might not know. They know our circle of people that we're performing when there's great entertainers and people in the Chicagoland area. But it's good to get out of your comfort zone and try to go visit and try to get some new entertainers, which I think is very good. And here's an ironic thing before we go, folks. Let's think about it. Wait, real fast, Herbie, real quick. You have your own original stuff. Are you ever going to try to bring that out live? Are you ever going to try doing anything with your own original stuff?
Well, Fitzgerald's has a song circle that is hosted by Ron Lazzaretti, another good local songwriter.
Okay.
And about 4 months ago, it's him and two other guys. He
Okay.
included me in one of those. So I got up there with them and I did 6 original songs, which were great. And then normally it's all only original. But
Okay.
I told him that I had prepared my version of The Impossible Dream. And he,
wait a minute. Robert Goulet's Impossible Dream?
from
Okay.
Broadway.
On Broadway.
So,
Okay.
so he looked at me and he goes, "I'm breaking the rules, and you're closing with The Impossible Dream." And that's how the
cool
show
is
ended.
that? Oh, that is so cool. Herbie, I love the stories. I wish we could keep talking, but here's something that's ironic. Ace Frehley, Ace Frehley from Kiss, Tommy Lee from Motley Crue, Ozzy Osbourne from Black Sabbath, Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones are all still alive, while the guy who eats healthy and works out all the time, Richard Simmons, is dead. It makes you wonder, are we doing something wrong here when Keith Richards is still alive?
How about Jim Fix? Jim Fix, the guy that wrote The Art of Running, and he dropped out of a heart attack.
And the guy, the editor of Men's Health magazine, dropped dead of a heart attack also in Central Park. Herbie Gaines is with us, folks. Herbie, before we go, like I said, this week, the only live show we're going to have is Friday, Chicago Prime Steakhouse. We've got a whole bunch of stuff coming up. Check the website, TonyOceanMusic.com. A lot of great dates. On the 14th will be, February 14th will be at 115 Bourbon Street with Ocean's Rat Pack. It's going to be great up there. The 19th, Tap House Grill in Lamont. 22nd will be at Pier 290 in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. On the 27th, we'll be at the Arcada in beautiful St. Charles, a theater on the 27th. And we'll be opening for Engelbert Humperdinck April 8th, Tony Ocean and the Main Event Band. We have birthdays for Wednesday, January 22nd. Here it is. The great Oliver Hardy celebrating a birthday today. It certainly is. Bill Hall, from a great singer-songwriter of Chicago. Ted DiBiase, for all you wrestling fans, turns celebrating a birthday. The great Dolly Parton, 79 years old. Edgar Allan Poe celebrating a birthday. Janis Joplin celebrating a birthday. Peter Prado, if you're listening, happy birthday to your mom. 92 would have been up in heaven, man. You got to love Gene Stapleton, another Archie, a great actress. Bart Starr, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever of the Green Bay Packers. Telly Savalas, Who Loves You, Baby, from Kojak, celebrating a birthday. Raymond Burr, Ironside, Perry Mason. I love all this old stuff. My good buddy Danny Maggi from Armando's Supermarkets, happy birthday to your mom up in heaven. Josh Gates, a great show, Exhibition Unknown. Desi Arnaz Jr. celebrating a birthday. God, look at these. Ozzie Guillen from the Chicago White Sox and Paul Stanley from Kiss. And last but not least, Colonel Buzz Aldrin celebrating a birthday. That is Ocean's Pit. Let us show about big things. We got my good buddy Herbie Gaines with us. Folks, it's time to go. But before we do that, we have to always mention Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. They got so many great deals at Ace Hardware, folks. Just a couple to throw out at you, folks. Very important. 2 for $13. That's Rust Aluminum Painter's Touch 2X Ply Extra Cover Spray Paint is only $2 for $13. 2 cans. You can't beat that, folks. Buy one, get one free. The Ace All-Purpose Duct Tape, one for 50% off. And more deals. How about 10% off any Key Start automotive keys right now? $79.99 gets a perfect air or oil filter electric heater, only for $79.99. That's our friends from Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, and don't forget to download the reward apps, folks, for your special coupons and special offers. Guys, want to thank my friend Herbie. Thank you so much for being on, Herbie. We got to do it again with some more stories because I can talk to you all day, especially when a guy who's been around and what I like about it, you mentioned some groups like stuff that I'm really not familiar with or I've never got into, but I wrote some of this stuff down and I'm going to sit down and try to Google some of the stuff and listen to it. My very first concert was the Araga Uptown Theater, the Bay City Rollers. So, I was probably the only guy there. So anyway, we got to go. But remember, folks, buy local, shop local, support local establishments, support live entertainment. Be kind to one another right now. Life is too damn crazy right now. And whether you're a Trumper or not, it's time now. The other regime had your 4 years. It's over. It's done. New guy, let's give him a shot. Let's see what all we need to do is make sure that everybody gets along. If you have no beef, pick up the phone and crush it because life is too short. John Lennon says, come together. But the great words of one of the greatest, Sir Richard Starkey, better known as Ringo Starr, says peace and love. We need it now. Herbie, thank you so much, guys. We'll be back tomorrow with Laura Ocean as my co-host, of course, my lovely wife. And Friday, from one of the greatest rock clubs back in the day, Stone Park area, the Charades. I don't know if you remember that. Ron Fabiani Sr. will be joining us this Friday, guys. Hey, Nick Sahajas, the piano man, going to take us out. Have a great day. Ocean's Pit, little show about...
Time to go, it's the end of the show. See you later from town.
Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great day. Peace and love.